Hi there. Helium is atomic number 2, and it's a noble gas, joined by neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, and synthetic element oganesson. You'll see why it's dark in here in a minute. Helium doesn't have a melting point per se, as solid helium isn't possible under standard temperature and pressure. Instead, it becomes a superfluid, where it leaks out of containers, climbs walls of containers, and can even form a frictionless fountain that goes on indefinitely. Nothing I say here can even come close to doing it justice, so I would strongly encourage you to watch YouTube videos on superfluid helium. Helium-4 becomes a superfluid in what is known as the lambda point of 2.1768 degrees Kelvin, or 455.75176 degrees Fahrenheit. Helium boils at minus 452.1 degrees Fahrenheit, the lowest boiling point of any known element. Helium has a density of just 0.1785 grams per liter, and only hydrogen is lower. That is why helium-filled balloons float. Helium is less dense than air. This acrylic cube contains some helium. Now, I'm going to show you something cool. This plasma lamp contains a Tesla coil. Now, when the helium is put in an electric field, you can't see it all that well, even though it is dark in here, but it is lighting up kind of a pale blue color. Other noble gases have a much stronger color than this, but definitely does exist with helium. Helium's most famous use is in balloons, including airships and weather balloons. I touched on this previously, but helium balloons float because they are less dense than air. They also deflate after a while because the helium atom is so small it escapes through the tiniest of holes. Side note, the US hoarded its helium reserves in the 20s and 30s, forcing Germany to use hydrogen in its place. Hydrogen is lighter than helium and it'll work just as well when it comes to getting balloons to float, but it has some, let's say, undesirable properties, which directly led to the Hindenburg disaster. Balloons only account for a small amount of total helium usage, despite being the most famous usage. Anyway, helium is used to cool the superconducting magnets in NMR spectrometers and MRI machines. Helium is often used in an inert environment is needed to prevent a chemical reaction from occurring. A couple examples of this are in growing silicon and germanium crystals. However, argon is more abundant and generally works just as well, so it is used much more frequently. Helium neon lasers are used in supermarket checkout lines. Helium is sometimes used in gas tungsten arc welding when argon won't suffice. Helium is used as part of the mixture of gases used by deep-sea divers. Helium was only discovered in 1869. Despite being the second most abundant element in the universe, helium is quite rare on Earth. It's the 72nd most abundant element in the Earth's crust, putting it on par with precious metals at around 8 parts per billion, and much of it is not primordial, but is a product of the decay of radioactive elements. Most helium today is extracted from natural gas, but helium is a very finite resource, and there are questions about just how much longer this will be viable. Helium is non-toxic, but it plays no biological role. Helium is really, really cool in my opinion, and so is this. Thanks for watching.